Hey everyone, welcome back to the RPGames YouTube channel. My name is Ralph. This is Black Geyser Couriers of Darkness, a game that was on Kickstarter. I had purchased the early access version of the game to do a let's try, and then it kinda snuck up on me and I saw a notification the game has officially released. So I was like, oh, now I'm too late to do an early access version. So I figured I might as well do our let's try anyway. We're gonna do 3 episodes to show off the game. Black Geyser is an isometric party-based RPG inspired by classics like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale. What we're gonna do in this first episode is run through the character creation system. We start off by choosing a race. I'm just gonna run through all of them and see what each race has to offer. Humans were once a united tribe that roamed Erangel for generations. The dark goddess of greed, Sornilsa, infected their hearts slowly with greed, avarice, and jealousy. The single tribe of man became many as they turned on one another. They warred for resources and land, forgetting their roots. Their bonds were broken and their old alliances splintered. Humans come in many different shapes and colors, can be found all over Erangel. They are natural farmers working the land as an artist works clay. Human versatility means that they can fill virtually any role. And that is reflected in their stats. Humans can be any class and they get a -1 penalty to the maximum supernatural. Supernatural is one of the attributes that you can put points into. We'll see that on the attributes tab a little later. Show off the female picture as well.
Breaking rock or breaking skulls, same to me.
The devil god Hrothgor was angry over the creation of the elves and the threat they represented to his plans to throw the world into darkness. He sent an incubus to impregnate elven women in an effort to steal the essence that lies within their wombs. The elven mothers despaired, but the green goddess told her daughters to seek the first waters of Erangel. They did so, but were trapped in a stone cavern where Hrothgor sent demons to destroy them. The children survived the attack, but their mothers died. Men in the mountains found the babes and raised them as their own, but the elven progeny were stunted and hairy. The children, now known as Dwarves, grew and prospered, sharing the love of nature from their elven parents, but began to exhibit a preference for the depths of the world. Dwarves are very materialistic, but have a strong connection to clan and family. They're stout, powerfully built, well suited to exploiting the natural tunnels that form deep in the ground. That is a picture of a male dwarf. The beard is a bit underwhelming. Like, I like my dwarves to have like a gigantic beard, you know? This is probably not the oldest dwarf, and probably a very, very young one here still. The dwarves, as you can see, can not be a whole bunch of classes in the game. They can't be a necromancer, a winter mage, spellweaver, convoker, druid, templar, or a ranger. They can wield war clubs and hammers, regardless of which class you pick. They get a +1 to maximum physique, a -2 to maximum charisma, -1 to maximum supernatural, and then they get a bunch of resistances to poison, acid, depressive, pulse, and blow. And they get a damage bonus with war clubs, hammers, battle axes, slings, and fustiballs. Yes, fustiballs sounds fun. Doesn't really sound like a terrifying weapon to me. That is probably because I have no clue what it looks like. The starting story of the dwarves is an interesting take here, seeing that they're coming from elves. As a real lover of the dwarven race, me, Ralph, you know, I've played a lot of dwarves in my tabletop role-playing game. I'm offended by the notion that we dwarves would come from elves. That is laughable. Laughable. It's a rumor, it is fake news. I will not stand for it by my beard.
My blade is sure, my arrow true.
Here is our lifelong nemesis. As the tribes of men fell to greed and the world was spoiled, the green goddess wept. The king god allowed Telindia to select a few tribes of men, those least affected by greed, to be her vassals in Isilmarld. Telindia chose 11 tribes of men to claim as her own. Those 11 tribes were come to be known as elves as time passed. Elves share a special connection with nature, feeling an inherent connection to all natural things. Their generations apart from men have changed them physically. Their narrow frames allowed them to move faster and quieter than men. Their ears grew pointed to better pick out distant or small sounds. The elves tend to be xenophobic and haughty towards the other races due to their chosen status imparted by Telindia. Again, an interesting take that elves were actually men first, which means that dwarves came from elves who came from men. So dwarves are what, like third generation? That is impossible. Dwarves are first, always, in every single world. We are, very simply, the master race. There we go. I've said it. There is a female picture of an elf. Transitioning there quickly from saying the master race, that elves can not be shamans or templars. They gain a +1 to maximum dexterity, a -1 to maximum physique. They gain a damage bonus to bow and arrow and weapons made out of wood. They have a resistance bonus to depressive and illusion and manipulation, and a resistance penalty to pulse and blow. And then we have two races which are, I think, unique to this world. I have not heard of these races before.
My blade is sure, my arrow is true.
But that doesn't mean much, of course, if I haven't heard from them. The Feldegug were once elven tribes who lived close to the north. The demigod Dargalmir grew jealous over the love the elves showed for Telindia and imprisoned a number of elven tribes in the snowy cold north. He would forge his own race and command them as he saw fit. But the elves were first a creation of the God King and the Green Goddess, and as they changed to survive in the north, they also realized the strength they would need to be free. Dargalmir eventually realized his mistake and allowed his creation to rule themselves, commanded them to form 6 tribes. Drawing from the strength granted by their cold imprisonment and their god and goddess, they rebelled against their demigod. Feldegug are similar to elves but much paler. They are resistant to a hard environment, who most would consider unlivable. They are rarely seen outside of their snowy northern homeland, and most other races are very distrustful of them. We have a male Feldegug as well, which is very handy, otherwise they would not be able to procreate, probably. Feldegug cannot be shaman or templars. They have a +1 to intelligence, so they are better suited, I guess, to the spellcasting races, except for a shaman then. They have a -1 to charisma and physique, a +1 to maximum supernatural. There are resistance bonuses to cold, arousal and depressive, and a resistance penalty to pulse and blow.
Cunning serves where violence will not.
And then we have the Rillow, travelers, traders and alchemists from the Eastern Empires. The Rillow are a child race of a powerful djinni called Illuminator. Okay. I hope I don't have to say that name too many times. Their homeland is shrouded in mystery, so few outside the Rillow themselves know much about them. What is known is that they are seekers of pleasure and experience, consummate traders and nomadic caravaneers. Rillow are a large, physically imposing race who bear a passing resemblance to elephants. They eschew religion, favor displays of wealth, and have a natural talent for brewing and drying. Now, brewing and drying is one of the skills, and you will see that in the skills and spell tab. We can put points in that. I will go back to human for a moment.
Ready for battle.
so that I can show off all the classes. I'm gonna come back here in a second, but as humans can be every single class, it's easier to show all of them.
The light guides me in all things.
And what is nice in this game as well is if you click add more, you can multi-class even. So I could go for a cleric winter mage, for example. Not going to, but it is possible. Clerics are priests of fate who have taken up arms to better serve their gods. While not as combat oriented as a Templar, they can serve in other ways. Their fate to a deity allows them to wield magical powers that can help their team or hurt their foes. They are first and foremost servants to their gods, and they harness that fate for the good of their religion. Clerics cannot wear heavy armor, they can wear robes, light and medium armor. They can wield slings and fustiballs, throwing weapons, small blades, rods and staves. They get a +2 focus to racial base, a +1 to brewing and drying, and then some more resistances.
I am never lonely. My friends await my summons.
The Convoker eschews most other magical pursuits in favor of the summoning capabilities of each spell class. Convokers are versatile masters of adaptation. Instead of focusing on the icy grasp of a winter mage or the dark energies of a necromancer, Convokers call upon a wide range of creatures to suit any needed task. Don't mistake their versatility as pacifism. Summoning abilities they bring to bear can rain destruction on their enemies through claw, flame, or steel. They are a spell casting class, so they can wear robes. They can wear light armor if their supernatural is greater than 2. They can wield a number of weapons that you can see here: rods and staves, small blades, throwing weapons, and the sling. They have a +2 focus to the racial base, a +3 intelligence to the racial base, and then a whole bunch of other stats that I'm not going to list one by one, but you can pause the screen if you want to read all of them in detail.
Nature.
We have the Druid, who, like rangers, are stewards of the wild. They use their faith in the wild gods to protect nature against the encroachments of man. They spend their days away from people so that they may stay better in tune with nature. Druids call upon the powers of their deity to heal, or bring the terrible and powerful forces of nature to call. They feel a kinship with rangers, but they still prefer solitude. Again, quickly pause the screen if you want to read all of these.
I am ready for battle.
The fighter is ready for battle, and they train to be ready for anything. Not just battle, anything. They're a versatile profession. They're the most common of all the martial professions. Fighters are proficient with all weapons and armor, making them a deadly and well-prepared combatant.
Who dares stand against?
The Highlanders are hardy and strong warriors. Their profession, originating in the harsh north, forged strong warriors, tough enough to resist the elements. They prefer thick armor that doesn't restrict their movement and helps them blend into natural environments. While they can pick up and use any weapon, they prefer the raw and crushing power of clubs and hammers.
Your dusk is my dawn.
Necromancers are viewed by society in a negative light, really, and shunned due to their proximity to death. That said, necromancers understand that a dead body is just a vessel. They've learned to use death and its trappings as tools. They pursue great mysteries which others have shunned and deemed immoral. But necromancers are not evil, they're merely focused on the inherent powers of life and death, sometimes even more than their own existence. Because of this, powerful necromancers are an extremely rare sight, but the most powerful are said to have transcended death, can even create powerful undead servants. quite sure this is going to be a popular pick for a lot of people.
I shall be your guide to the wilds of Yerringal.
Rangers are warriors who feel most at home in the heart of the wild and pledge to protect Yerringal from man and beast alike. They are sworn to preserve a balance between man and nature. They enforce this with their actions. Rangers are skilled in the use of any weapon but excel with the bow. They also abhor the unnatural and are trained to take down the undead and other aberrant creations of men.
I walk with the spirits. Their wisdom will serve you well.
Shamans are beings of fate who channel their power in an unusual manner. They attempt to connect with their deity on a spiritual level, can communicate with spirits and other servants of their god. Shamans have access to kind of magic that is not easily understood by wizards or priests. They use an ancient magic and their ability to travel with the non-physical souls to further their communion with their god tends to confuse more short-sighted magical practitioners.
The wise shall fear my spells.
In other words, nobody understands them. Spellweavers are the most common form of wizards in Yerringal. They're as varied as the world itself. Spellweavers focus on exploring as many of each magical discipline as possible, thus no two spellweavers are the same. All they share in common is an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. Spellweavers are much too busy studying the arcane to bother with martial training, and as such rely on their mastery of the eldritch magics to protect them.
Keep your eyes on the coin. Where has it gone?
Swindlers are master conmen. They focus less on outright burglary and more on manipulating the weak or greedy. Unlike thieves, swindlers hide in plain sight. Because of this, they are better in open combat, while their plans and machinations unfold in the shadow. If I were to do a full playthrough of the game, this looks very tempting. Like, I have played a whole bunch of dwarves, as I mentioned earlier, but I also love playing like a bard type character or a rogue type character who is a con man. I enjoy that. I've played smugglers, I've played bards, and the cool thing about that in the tabletop RPGs is that you have to get creative to get out of difficult combat situations, because for sure you're not gonna hack your way out of it. And that is the type of roleplay that I really enjoy.
Alnarius shields the righteous.
The Templars are human warrior priests, the most devout of their kind and only most dedicated can become a Templar. Sworn to a strict code of conduct, they train endlessly in combat so that they might fight evil in whatever form it manifests. They are specially trained to hunt and dispatch the undead.
The shadows are my home. Come, let me show you.
Then we have the Thieves. In a world infested with greed, the Thief has become much more common. Their skill set is diverse. They can function as common footpads or royal spies. They prefer subterfuge and misdirection to open conflict. Their ability to steal and plant items, remain undetected and create all manner of powders makes them a deadly and unpredictable foe in or out of combat.
In the pitiless cold, I reign.
And then last but not least, the wizards, called winter mages, who seek the mastery of the harsh magics of the cold north. They have an extremely high resistance to cold and can withstand temperatures that would kill mortal men. Because of this, they are uncomfortable in warmer climates, but some winter mages still travel to further their knowledge. Winter mages need less sleep than other mortals, using a technique that developed known as cold sleep. Powerful winter mages can use their knowledge and magical skills to craft ice golems, which can serve as mighty guardians. Okay, so for the sake of these few episodes, let's pick a
My
race.
blade is sure, my arrow true. Cunning serves where violence will not.
That is specific for this world, and I kind of like the half elephant here. So let us pick a Rillow. What can we be? So as a Rillow, we have a bonus to Physique, so I would say a fighter type character. Now we cannot be a Templar, we can be a regular fighter, but that sounds a bit boring maybe. A Highlander.
Who dares stand against me?
Yeah, that looks pretty cool actually. Like you have a a gigantic, like a giant of a half elephant with a gigantic club or a hammer. That sounds appealing to me, so we're gonna go with the Highlander. Attribute-wise, you have Physique, which is the overall physical build and state. Characters' value in Physique modifies their damage dealt with physical attacks, their maximum health value, their ability to evade incoming attacks through blocking, and their carrying capacity. If you've seen me play role-playing games, you know that I'm a hoarder. I grab everything that is not bolted down to the floor. So I need a high physique, just for carrying capacity. I don't care about the rest. Dexterity displays a character's agility. Character's value in dexterity modifies their aim and accuracy value, their chance to evade attacks through dodging, and parrying attacks. Intelligence displays a character's ability to think, plan, and use logic in different situations. A character's value in intelligence modifies their efficiency in various spells and skills that depend on one's mental abilities to be performed. Then we've got Focus, which is the overall mental strength and resilience. It modifies aim and accuracy value, the ability to evade incoming attacks through dodging and blocking, and reduces the chance of the actions being interrupted by incoming damage. Charisma is the character's natural aptitude to compel, attract, and influence, and it modifies bargain and persuasion in various class skills. And then the supernatural attribute displays a feature of characters that elevates them above ordinary creatures. The value of supernatural increases a character's base health, resistance values against various forms of damage, enabled further special abilities for warriors and outlaws, and increases the number of elevated energy slots for wizards and priests. Okay, so what do we need? We're gonna bump Physique as high as possible. 16. Alright, we're gonna be extremely strong. Dexterity would be good to get some more armor class. I'm guessing Focus has a similar effect. Charisma we don't need. I would like to put some points into supernatural here. Let's put 3 points in that, and then let's put another point in dexterity and another in focus. How about we do this? And then we can distribute some resistances, since we come from, I think it's at the east, which is more like desert places, I would think. I'm going to put all these points in heat resistance. That makes the most sense to me. Skills and spells. We have bargain and persuasion, learning and research, brewing and drying. This is for potion creation, so we already have a good chunk in that. This I think is more for wizard, spell books. And then bargaining and persuasion is not bad. I'm going to put this 1 point into that. I want to be able to sell all that loot that I'm collecting. We have some class-specific ones. The Seasoned Warrior. This enables dialogue choices themed around warriors. outdoor survivor. Character becomes more capable at fending for themselves and their allies in the wilderness. Command company offers the ability to become the leader of the party. What else are we gonna be? I mean, and then force, locks, and doors. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna pick as Seasoned Warrior, since, you know, it says Seasoned Warrior, not Seasoned Highlander, but, you know. And then we have 4 points, and we do like the crushing stuff, so I'm guessing that is war clubs and hammers. And that is the only thing that we're gonna fight with. We're not gonna go ranged here. Highlanders do not do that. We are gonna... I don't know if we'll have some kind of barbarian rage or something, but we are gonna be up close and in your face. Oh hey, look at that. We do have a berserk ability. Alright. So, Challenging Howl draws the attention of the target creature. Prolonged Berserk. This is a frenzy. Shattering Shot, we don't need that since we don't have any ranged. And in Waylay, the user of this ability attempts a disabling attack against a target that aims to prevent their movement. That sounds good. And then I think I'm gonna put 2 points in Berserking. Appearance-wise, let's see where this looks like a berserking Rillow to me. The major color, I think we have, I don't know, would be more like a, oh, maybe blue? I think they had some regal colors, so let's do that. Blue and red, that sounds like a great combination. We do look a bit more pale. Let's go ivory. We need blue eyes, of course. And blondish hair. Bronze is fine. And the hairstyle seems to be long. Something like this if I look at the picture, and we need a beard. That looks like that. There we go. We need a name for our Rillow. Oscar doesn't sound... well, I don't know. I don't know the world, but Oscar doesn't sound Rillow to me. Coraldur, that sounds the most Eastern that I've seen so far. Oscar. Yeah, Oscar is fine, why not? We are gonna pick a brutish name.
What?
Yeah, that sounds like me. And then we get a whole overview, a character sheet, so to speak. Looks good to me. Looks more like a Viking than anything else, to be honest. But hey, Vikings are cool, so there we go. And with character creation out of the way, we're gonna end the first episode. In the next episode, we're going to take a look at our first steps in the world of Erangel. If you're excited for this game, there's a link in the description where you can pick it up. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the second episode.